Hey, what's up, Angel? How you doing? Going to get started rolling on this video. I'm probably not going to do too much talking, really. Be mostly just watching my workflow as I upload the photos and then um, start the Revit file. So let's get going. I'm just going to share my screen. So basically, we want to find images of the floor plans that we can load into Revit. So I'm just going to type in floor plans, Robbie house. Kind of like, let's try and say simple. I'm gonna find the one which works best. So a lot of options, we just pick one that works. I kind of like the massing of this one, although I don't believe it's accurate. Well, let's start with this one. I think this gives us a good general footprint for the building. So I'm going to save this image to the desktop. Robbie house. Remember that wherever you save a file and you link in Revit is always going to be the same file path. So just remember where you put that file. And now we're going to upload that file into our project. So we've created the file. Make sure you save it. And name it and everything. So to insert the image, insert image, and we'll go to our desktop. And we'll look for this one, Robbie house. All right, now we need to do one very important thing. We need to scale this drawing. Looks like they have a scale right here. That's 4 feet. So we can go annotate, detail line, scale. Okay, that's only 1'4" now. We want to punch this line up to be 4 feet. And then got a long way to go. So we just keep scaling it until we reach the right size. The trouble with images, I don't know. We can scale it that way. That's convenient. So you just click scale right here, and then you can click on the photo and scale to a certain point. So that's much better. In fact, let's even scale it down a little bit more. We go from here to about here. Okay, so this is close enough, and we can adjust this later as we work. The nice thing is about this is that we've got this image on multiple floors. So we can do first floor, second floor, third floor. So first step is just draw some walls. I'm just going to do a basic 8-inch wall for the exterior, and we can adjust this later. You can already see it's not the right size. But okay, now you can already see that this building has really substantial mass. The walls are much thicker than 8 inches. In this area, it looks like it's probably 2 inches. But one thing you could do to just kind of mass it out in a way that's just easy for you to work with is actually use each wall as a separate face. So because it's existing conditions, doesn't have to be so perfect, but we can see how we were able to build a mass in that area. Now, one thing I think is helpful when we're massing out a building is to look at it in 3 dimensions. So you can see like everything we just drew. Here is that area where we just drew a boxed out wall. So we come back here and we've drawn now this first floor. But what we need to do is copy and draw the second floor. So let's say we select that image, copy it, and click to the second floor and press paste. All right, now you'll notice that it brought the next floor plan up in the same location and we need to move it down. So we'll grab this corner like this and just bring it straight down until you get to this corner. So now you can see that we've got the second floor aligning with the first floor walls. And you can see the porch is on the south side or on the east side, and we're just drawing the second floor. So architecture, floor. There's actually a porch that comes up here. And just keep drawing, filling in this second floor plate. Looks like there's a wall here, and there's actually a large outdoor promenade. Almost had it. There's a balcony here, so this floor will continue out and will enclose here. And just close that area and straighten out all your lines that got. This one anymore. And I think this is it. So if we make this floor, you see we've drawn this floor area, and then when we go to our 3D view, now we have an idea of where everything is situated. So let's say this first wall just comes up to the second floor. Well, not delete. If you want to do select all. And now instead of it being unconnected, we're going to turn it to up to level 2. And now it's not overlaying with that floor. So looks like there's something that we have to figure out. Like for instance, I think this wall might not be all the way up to the second floor, but we're going to look at photos and determine the actual configuration after we've masked it all out. So let's come back here. If we want to continue to draw through the floor, we can hide the floor for now. It'll still show in our 3D view. And now let's draw in some walls. So I guess we're going to now draw wall here, and then the over top of this wall to here. I'm basically following what's below, but I'm doing them as 2 separate layers so that I can really control where the massing is at. Now cross over, and we're going to fill in those storefronts separately in a moment, but just so that we get the walls right. Something like this. I think some more storefronts in here. This balcony opens up. We can do that also separately. And there's just so many pieces to his architecture where there's these little bump outs or built-ins, and it makes it kind of an interesting challenge to have to mask the existing conditions. So that's why I chose this building. And now when we go back to 3D, we can see where the balconies are starting to be at and where the other layers are. So there's a 3rd floor, but we only have 2 levels. So we're going to come down into our elevation and we'll select all these walls. We actually need to create a 3rd level. We're going to need a 4th level too eventually, but for now, we'll create a 3rd level and all of these walls will get placed at that height. All right. So now you can see the second level of the building kind of starting to take shape. You've got this lower promenade, which we're really going to need to have to look at photos over the course of the week to make sure that we're developing this correctly. If you kind of look at the pictures, on the front side, there's like a balcony, then there's a half wall, then there's a lower courtyard area. It kind of looks like this, like you come around. What the area that we're interested in modeling right now looks like this. This is on the front side. No, that's not it. That's the back side. This house is incredibly like dysmorphic. Here you go. You see the half wall in the front, you see the arcade on the front side. We need to build this courtyard here in the back. Here it is. So you can see there's that window, and then this is lowered. So a half wall with a lowered courtyard. So there's even a fourth floor below it, but let's just try to mask that out real fast. So this is a half wall. We will bring its top constraint up to 6 feet or minus 4 feet. And we can just copy that all around. Now, I'm not going to do every wall to match, but we can work through that over the course of the week. You can kind of like build it up as you go. And there's another wall under here, like an arcade, but we'll show that all separately. So now we need to show the third floor so that we can get the final level of massing. The best way to do that is come up to view. We want to go to plan views, floor plan. And you'll see that level we just created is located right here. Just click OK, and then it'll come down into your floor plan in your project browser. Now that's open. We can go back to our second floor underlay image, copy it, and paste it directly into our current view. All right, now this is great. We can see what's below. I just want to show the underlayment because we can't see the walls, which are at the top of the floor in this image. So let's turn the underlayment to second floor. And now we can see where those walls are at below. Looks like one of our floor plates is off. Right here, we're not showing a straight line. So definitely make sure you get everything straightened up. I'm not going to attach the floor. We'll come back to the third floor and we'll do the same thing we did last time where we pull the image down to align. All right, and now on the first floor plan is aligned. On the second floor plan is aligned. And on the third floor, the final floor is aligned, and we can just draw in that floor plate. And I'm just going to be really loose with it for this first phase, because remember in the next phase of design development, we're going to tighten up all the surrounding imagery, all the exterior elevations. We'll get all our eave heights, our courtyards, our half walls. We'll get all that worked out in design development. All right, so again, with that unstraight line, just pull that down and trim it. I don't usually attach my floors. So now that we've created that, you can see we've got the 3 levels of the house. First floor, second floor, third floor. I actually do think this is everything that is in the interior of the building. I don't think there's another basement or an attic level floor. The last thing we need to add, it would be a floor on the actual first floor at grade. So we can do this pretty easily by just for pick wall. And it will just pick all the different surfaces. quick way when you need to just enclose the space wall. Actually, I don't need these two lines, so we'll just get rid of them and trim this piece. And we don't need this line, so we can use the trim tool here as well. Oh, gotta have one more line to enclose the shape. All right, so now all the floors are placed, all of the walls on the exterior of the first, second floors are placed. Let's do the third now. And we basically extend this deck, this porch out. And now we're going to draw on the walls of the third floor before we put the roofs on. Wall. And you can kind of be loose with it. We're going to come back later and correct a lot of we can from this drawing. And we're going to stay with these drawings the whole way because there's plenty of detail in here. The final step in the process will be creating the custom windows of the Robie house and all the angles and geometric patterns that are part of the exterior of that building. So that's kind of like the big part of this project. We just want to get the massing done so that we can get to the windows. So right now, this is 20 feet unconnected. Let's just go ahead and make it 10 feet. So it's kind of in line with the rest of the building. All right. Now it's not perfect yet, but you can see that this shape is a massing similar to what's actually on the site here. Let's see if we can get a full-size image. All right, very cool. If you look, we have a roof on the second floor, a promenade and exterior arcade on the second floor, and then we have a courtyard and arcade on the first floor. And then there's just a small roof on top with like all the chimneys and everything. So let's just get the roof piece done. And I think that will cover it for this first massing video. So I'm going to start with the third floor and the roof looks something like this. Let's use the roof command. I think that the slope is actually very shallow, but we can deal with that once we have a chance to mass it. So it goes kind of like this on this one. It's very pronounced. I think it's something like this, and we can adjust this as we develop from elevations. All right, I think we might run into a problem if we don't actually mirror one side of the roof. What ends up happening is you don't have the right angles to have a smooth slope. So we just mirror the one side. Okay, perfect. And we can now close this roof off. I don't think that we have the right slope yet, but we can test it in 3D. All right, first of all, we don't even have it at the right height. We come up 10 feet. And we're going to change the slope on the roof to 212, which is more what it actually looks like. So you can see in the picture, the roof is very shallow. Same kind of thing here. And we're going to have to adjust our slope so that we have the same ridge lines as this project. We can develop that more later, or you can work on the angles when you have some time. Needs an adjustment in this direction. I think we're okay in this direction. Just a little bit further on the north side. All right. And now that roof is how the actual roof of the building looks. Kind of centering it over that mass. And this is very characteristic of Frank Lloyd Wright's architecture. The deep overhangs, flat roof pitches show the prairie style. And that's kind of what I kept trying to get across during the presentations about his style, and it relates to the architectural elements. Second floor, we can just copy this roof down. So copy, align to selected level, level 2, and it's kind of placed the roof for us. We just have to work on the pitches. And the pitches for this roof are similar. We're going to overhang, steep overhang on the top. All right, we have to cover that porch. And then we have this piece coming out. And if I'm not mistaken, it comes out like this. We're going to have to look a little bit at the image. So the image, it's more like a Z shape. So let's try to get that. So it actually is more like this Z shape. And this just sort of comes over the edge and this whole courtyard is open. Again, we can develop this more as we get through design development. For right now, I think we'll just run it like that. You can see that the roof kind of rests on these columns. And this is another thing about his design work, is that it's very much organized by the roof, the columns, the actual elements of the architecture. And this before computers were even used to design buildings. So he had to really think through the tectonics of it. That's why these are great examples, especially for just laying out massing and stuff like that. So we'll try to close the roof and see how our 3D looks. So this 3D looks pretty good to me. I think for right now, for the first step, this is enough context for us to know what we're looking at. Even if we come into an elevation, we can see sort of the massing of the building, turn the shadows on, you can really get an idea where your overhangs are. And for level 1, I don't believe there is a roof. There's only these promenades, decks, which are just a continuation of the floor. So in order to do that, we're just going to extend the second floor out to the edge of level 1. So that's this wall, this wall, this wall, this wall, this wall, and this wall. All right. We're gonna connect these outer edges. And delete the lines that we don't need. We also, no, that's not, okay. And now, if we look in 3D, you've got your rooftop decks, you have your low arcade area. You basically have all the elements of your building ready. This low, I mean, this is this portion we were looking at in these images. It's kind of like the more famous picture, this back entry into the home that brings you up into where the fireplace is at. This is one of the more iconic views, and you kind of are already set up all the geometry you need. Next week, we're going to, or in the next video, we're going to look at where the stairs are placed and how the front door enters into the space. I think the stair placement really starts to turn this room. If you have additional time to work on this before the next video, you can go ahead and add in all of the parapet conditions, or they're like basically guardrails. However, he made them all out of concrete. The top upset. You'll have to add in walls here, and then this courtyard piece has its own stairs. So that will be the first piece of this project. You want to go ahead and save that. I would just save it to your desktop for now. We're going to be using it the rest of the week. I would also go ahead and open up a PowerPoint. So get a PowerPoint started. And when you open up your PowerPoint, I don't want you to pick any templates or anything like that. Just leave it blank for now. We can always do graphic design on it later, but for right now, we just want to document the work. So just grab some random screenshots. When I say random, I mean, create something compelling, but don't worry too much if it's not perfect. Like maybe, you might want to hide out the grid lines for your presentation documents, because as you continue to develop this model, we're going to lose the thread of what you've already done to the model. So try to take a few shots to capture your process. It's really important. So copy that, paste this into your image, just make a couple sheets like this. And you could do different views. I think a floor plan view is good. Looks good with the shadows. I mean, these are very geometric projects of his, and they're great portfolio pieces. They love to see that you have a graphic design sense. So take some time taking some good screenshots that you find interesting, and just make a running document that you'll save, just like you save the project. Every week we'll add to this, and then when we meet on the weekends, we'll review it together, kind of build some imagery to go along with the process. All right, well, thank you for joining me on that first video. I'll try to get the next piece of this ready to go. In the meantime, just keep working on the massing of the building, walls, floors, and roofs. Thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you soon.